In this episode, I want to talk about something you should never, ever say to yourself. Let's get into it. When I was a young boy, I remember it was the summer holidays and a gang of us was sitting on someone's front doorstep, just talking about nothing really. And it was a mixture of boys and girls. I mean, we must have been about 8 or 9 years of age. And one of the girls in the group, she had a cleft palate. We knew it then as a hair lip, but it was a cleft palate. And she said, just out of the blue, right, we all have to say something about ourselves that we don't like. We all just looked at her. And then she said, I don't like my lip. And then she looked at the person to her left, and they said, and I genuinely can't remember the answers, but it was things along the lines of, I don't like my ears, they stick out. I don't like having red hair. I don't like my freckles. I don't like my teeth. I don't like my eyes, and I went round the group and it got to me. And I said, I don't know. Because I'd never looked at myself in a critical way or a positive way. I hadn't done either. And the group said, well, there must be something that you don't like about yourself. And I was genuinely just looking at myself, saying, well, I don't know. I'm all right, I guess. I don't know. And they're like, oh, you big-headed, love yourself. And it wasn't that at all. And then someone said, well, that jumper's a bit rubbish, isn't it? So I was wearing a jumper in the summer. And they said, well, that jumper's a bit rubbish, isn't it? And I said, I suppose. I don't know. And then it went round the group. But later on when I was walking home, even though I was 7 or 8 years of age, I was really thinking about this critical way that those friends of mine were talking to themselves about themselves. And even though I was only 7 or 8, I just thought that's quite harmful. I wasn't thinking of it in those kind of words because I was only 7 or 8. But now, as I reflect back on that experience, they weren't doing themselves any favours. And the way I was viewing myself was, well, this is who I am. I can't change it. Why worry about it? And that's probably as far as I went with it. Now, what I've noticed is that this isn't just a childhood thing. This is an adult thing as well. And maybe you have said or are saying some quite critical things to yourself about yourself. And I would encourage you to stop it immediately. You see, because you're listening to yourself. You're listening to what you say. And this is why affirmations and mantras are so powerful. Because you're listening to what you say. Now, if you're talking to yourself in a negative way, you're not going to feel positive. I mean, that's just a ridiculous thing to even consider. If you talk about yourself in a negative way, you're going to feel good. That's never going to happen. And that's one of the reasons that I don't particularly listen to the news or buy newspapers. I can't remember the last time I bought a newspaper, because it's all bad news. And I like to be fairly positive and fairly upbeat. And if I'm reading about a negative thing, I'm not going to feel upbeat. Because then, I had some kind of like psychological disorder if I was reading bad news and feeling great. You see? So you are a receiving station of what's going on around you, but what's going on within you as well. Just have a think and see whether you've ever noticed this. I've noticed this so often. If a woman is wearing a dress and a friend of hers says, oh, I love that dress, listen for what the woman who's got the dress on replies. They normally say, oh, well, yeah, I got it in a sale, it was there, but, oh, this thing, oh, yeah. They start talking about it in such a negative way and putting it down, instead of just saying, oh, thanks. So a bit of homework for you for this episode, and this might be uncomfortable for you. It's not to walk around patting yourself on the back saying I'm the best thing since sliced bread, but it's definitely not to be putting yourself down to yourself. Don't do this to yourself. Honestly, it does so much harm Because you tell yourself something enough times, you start to believe it as fact. You can tell yourself a lie, something over and over and over again. You say it enough times, for you, it'll be the truth. When in fact, it's a lie. So never ever, please, never ever talk down to yourself about yourself. It's so detrimental. If this resonates with you, please type a yes in the comments. If you want to change it, please type a yes in the comments. If you need some help with this, and if this is a bit of an issue for you, my contact details will be in the description below. Only short and sweet, this one. But please, it's short and sweet, but it's a big thing. Please don't do this to yourself. You're worth more than this. You're better than this. And you're awesome. So maybe, start congratulating yourself. I remember a mentor of mine saying, you've got 100% survival rate. Well, that stands for something, doesn't it? So I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have, please remember to do the like, the share, and the subscribe. And I'll see you on the next episode of Write Your Own Story. And this is James. Bye bye.